I was going to stop doing these videos because I haven't had much of a response. I know there's people viewing them. I know somebody's got to be getting something out of them. But my past caused me nightmares for years. Every time I slept for over 5 years, and I'm not talking about just at nighttime, I'm talking about naps. Anytime I slept, I had a nightmare. And I'm talking about wake up, don't go back to sleep, nightmares. I'll tell you, it, that, okay, I'll give you an example. One of them, I was trapped in this house, and I don't know how many of y'all watch uh, Rob Zombie movies, but it was House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and 32, 24, well, whatever that video, whatever that one is where they have all the people trapped in the warehouse. Well, I was trapped in this house, and um, the dream would start, and I would have to fight and overtake the first person that tried to kill me and take their weapon and use their weapon to fight my way out of the house. Sometimes I'd get out of the house, sometimes I wouldn't, but every time the people that were chasing me to kill me would get close enough to where I knew I couldn't get away, I had to take the weapon that I took from the first individual and I had to turn it on myself so that I wouldn't be at the mercy of these torturous people who were going to take me and mutilate me and torture me and do all kinds of vile, painful, and bad things. So I counted them 7 times. I woke up 7 times. I killed myself 7 times. One was with the machine gun. Another one was with the sword. One that stands out significantly was when I took the knife. It was just a little pocket knife with a little 6-inch blade, and they were coming down on me, and I was fighting so hard to get away, and I couldn't get away, and they were coming, and I had to stab myself multiple times to try to get my heart so that I would die before these people got a hold of me. My brother helped me interpret my dreams. Well, the wasteland part of it, the never being able to succeed and the always failing and never being able to save the life and the he helped me to realize what the things were in my life that was causing me to have these dreams, and I faced my fears in reality and was able to purge them out along with pushing my past out and putting my past behind me. Well, by doing these videos and sharing my experiences to try to help people, I have reopened that door. And last 2 nights I have had nightmares. The last every time I've slept for the last it's been nightmares. Now, I'm not talking about my past shared experiences anymore. If anybody has any questions or they have anything that they're going through that they would like advice on, I can relate to an experience and I can try to help you with yours. But I'm not telling no more stories about my past. I'm not digging that. I'm not picking that scab off. I'm not. I'm not reopening that wound. I'm not going back to the nightmares. So, my shared experience for tonight, what is going to be my baptism in the Holy Spirit and my miraculous healing. I went to church one night. We had a guest speaker from 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 Uganda, and he did a sermon on the Holy Spirit. And he's doing his sermon, and then all of a sudden, all I know is I'm standing up, and I I can feel this heat, and I speak in tongues, and I'm standing all the way over on the side where I usually sat. And when I opened my eyes, I was at the foot of the altar, right in front of the cross, and I spoke tongues. I received my baptism in the Holy Spirit. Well, at the end of the night, when they did prayer, the end of sermon prayer, Pastor Scott and memory loss prohibits me from remembering his name. I think it's Elijah. Pastor Elijah, I think. But they came up and they put hands on me and prayed, and the Holy Spirit come back down on me again, and we all three spoke in tongues. And as the prayer was happening, I asked God and Jesus to heal my liver of hepatitis and to help me gain control over my addiction, over my addict. Well, 2 days later, I went to the doctor to get the results from my blood panel to find out what kind of treatment we were going to take. The doctor walks in with the results and says that my blood shows no trace of the disease at all whatsoever. I was miraculously healed that night. And that's not my first miraculous healing story having to do with Jesus. I had an abscessed tooth. The tooth hurt so bad that I had an infection that went from here all the way back to the back, and it lined my entire gum line, and it was infected with white pus, and it hurt so bad. And it was men's breakout night, and we get upstairs, and I told Pastor Rob, I said, I'm not feeling good right now, man. My head is really hurting. He said, well, when we get upstairs, we're going to pray for you. So we get upstairs, and all the men group in around me, and they all lay hands on me, and they start praying. And it's just the first time I ever heard the Holy Spirit. Well, the Holy Spirit come down through a very special man that had helped me through my time in homelessness. His name was Dan, and he was the very first person I heard speak through the Holy Spirit. Well, by the end of service that night, well, the pain stopped immediately. By the end of service that night, I was okay. When I woke up the next morning, all that infection was gone, and there was nothing but a pink spot up above where the tooth was. No antibiotics, no doctor's visits, no. I can attest, Jesus Christ and the power of the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, God the Father, the Son, God the Father, the Son, the Spirit is real. and they've touched my life in magnificent ways and have transformed me from the low moral addict, do anything to get high person that I was into the happy, sober. I've been sober now, completely 100% sober. Uh, Not even marijuana since February. Before that, it was since I got out with one relapse. And that's been almost 3 years ago. So, to those of you that count pot as relapse, I've been sober since February. For those of you that count sobriety, not minus the relapse, because see, relapse is a part of recovery. What's most important about relapse is it teaches you a lesson. When you relapse, what tells you whether you're strong enough to beat the addiction or not is if you get back up and you continue to stay stopped, or you get back up and you continue to stay stuck in. That's what relapse tells you. Relapse is perfectly normal part of recovery. It happens to everyone. We all relapse. All addicts do. It's how we learn. It's how I learned. I learned to gain control through relapse. Now I have such control that I don't have to live with it anymore. And God transformed me so that I tried to picture my life doing something, doing a shot or smoking a bowl or anything, and I try to picture it in my mind, and I cannot find what I felt that made me feel good about doing it before. That's gone. That's no longer existent in my life. I don't feel that. When I imagine going back to the life I once had, all I see is dark. Because that's all that life is to me now. Is blinked out past in my existence that is gone. I will never go back. And I know there's a lot of people say never, but I say never because I can't even picture it. And I've lived it for a better part of 30 years. And I've lost a lot of memory. But I haven't forgotten my drug years. But I cannot picture my life going back into that now. When I try to picture who I am now and what God's made me today, there is no spot for me in that life no more. So, this is me sharing experience with y'all. I'm signing out for tonight. No more past. If you have any questions or need any help, you know where I'm at. I'm going to take us a different route. I love y'all. Good night.